Come on up front, Dr. Thomas. We have a proclamation today, Mr. President, in honor not only of the class of 1964, but of the film that was produced commemorating their story in the early 1960s around the Atlanta student movement. The proclamation reads as follows: in honor of foot soldiers, class of 1964, an Atlanta story that changed the world. Whereas Foot Soldiers, class of 1964, is an award-winning independent documentary about freshman women in Spelman College's 1964 class who participated in the largest coordinated series of civil rights protests in Atlanta's history. And whereas, as young women, 16, 17, and 18 years old, these willing souls were foot soldiers of the Atlanta University Center who carried the Atlanta student movement through relentless picketing, sit-ins, kneel-ins, and other nonviolent demonstrations. And whereas Foot Soldiers, class of 1964, is a film that inspires others to engage in working for the greater good of all. Evelyn Sanders produced, directed, and wrote the documentary, which tells the story of her mother, Dr. Julian Thomas, the creator and executive producer of the film, and Thomas's classmates at Spelman. And whereas Foot Soldiers, class of 1964, features interviews with Spelman College alumni, Gloria Knowles Bell, Lois Dunlap, retired Major General Marcelite Jordan Harris, Janice Craig Hartsfield, Edwina Palmer Hunter, Deborah Dorsey Mitchell, Rosalind Pope, Dr. Rosalind Pope, Ph.D., Dolores Young Strawbridge, Dr. Georgia Thomas, Billy Pitts Williams, and Val Jean Williams. And whereas the documentary also features Spelman College alumni Sadie Beasley Gray, Dorothy Jenkins Fields, Dr. Dorothy Fields, Ph.D., and Ida Rose McCree Hilliard, M.D. And whereas their bold activism is an Atlanta story that helped change the world for decades, the faces in the crowd have gone unnamed, their voices unheard until now. Now, therefore, we, the members of the Atlanta City Council, on behalf of the citizens of the city of Atlanta, do hereby recognize Foot Soldiers class of 1964 on this 21st day of October in 2013, in witness whereof I have set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Atlanta to be hereunto affixed. Congratulations, ladies. Quick action shot. I'd like to ask my colleagues if they have any comments that they'd like to make at this time. I'm sorry, yeah, they're going to make comments, but I wanted to offer it to the body first. So seeing none, which is rare, I'd like to ask Evelyn Sanders, please come forward and make some remarks.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am Evelyn Sanders, the producer, writer, and director of the documentary Foot Soldiers class of 1964. I'd like to thank Atlanta City Council President Cesar Mitchell, Council Member Michael Julian Bond, the entire Atlanta City Council for this tremendous honor. I am a longtime resident of District 11, where I was, as we say, born and raised. So I'd like to acknowledge the Honorable Council Member Keisha Lance Bottoms in her absence as my council person. We are residents of Atlanta. We love this city. This is our home. And because of that, there was a story that we wanted to tell. We wanted to tell the story of these women, as the proclamation said, whose names had gone unknown and unheard, and their faces you did not know prior to the release of this documentary. It made its debut in the Bronze Lens Film Festival in November 2012, and it also won 2 awards at the Pan-African Film Festival in February 2013. It won the top award in our category for Best Documentary, just under an hour, and it also won Audience Favorite. So it is an award-winning independent documentary. It took my mother and I 3 years to make it, get it done. We had the additional support of Emory University with Ozzie Harris, who's in the audience, and we went forward from there and brought it home. These ladies standing behind me were instrumental in giving their time, coming forward to share their story. They are the stones in the book of Joshua. The story is, children will say, what do these stones mean? What do these stones mean? These stones that are standing to memorialize how the Israelites crossed over the Jordan, how the Ark of the Covenant made it across the Jordan to go and re-enter into the homeland to reclaim it from the foreigners that had taken it over. These are the stones standing behind me. The documentary is the digital representation of those stones. So when children ask, as I asked my mother as a child, what do these stones mean? What is that mark on your arm? Why is it there? And she told me, someone burned me while I was marching against Rich's downtown Atlanta. Fast forward many, many years, attend Northwestern University, graduate. Hey, you know how to do this? Make a story. Tell the documentary. Completely independently done by in-kind contributions with Crawford Media Services. Our editor, Tom Roach, who was here earlier, donated his time. The camera crew, Mark Kendall, Andrew Taylor, Fletcher Holmes, all donated their time. Channel 30, PBA, Atlanta, premiered it for us. It was an effort of love and labor because we wanted these stones standing behind me, these women who sacrificed their time and who made an unwavering commitment to make this city and this world a better place. We wanted these stones to be memorialized, these stones to stand. So when children say, what do these stones mean? You can watch Foot Soldiers, class of 1964, and find out how Atlanta crossed over from a city of Jim Crow to a city that's thriving international with one of the best places to live in this world. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to my family, Paquita James in the audience. Thank you to Atlanta Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Big Bethel AME Church, family and friends who have come, Clark Atlanta University, Atlanta Metropolitan State College, the Spelman College family, and the class of 1964. God bless you all.
Hard to follow a preacher. But I just want to say thank you. I tear up, and so that's why Evelyn does everything speaks for us. I'm very grateful for all of you who took time to come out today, especially my sister, Paquita James, who's here. She's moved here from Indiana, and I want to say thank you, and for my good friends that came out. I don't want to call names, but my daughter's already covered most of the categories. But Mr. Stovall is here, and Mr. Jim Scott is here, and Mr. Williams was here, and then people who have just contributed a lot, and then the young lady who runs our salon, Miss Houston, Sandra Houston here, and we're the preacher man, young preacher man that's only been married 15 days, Mr. Reverend. I was in your church after. I want to thank all of you for being here. This was a labor of love. I don't want to start crying, and I know they got a time limit. You never get a mic to somebody
who teaches at Clark Atlanta all day, and you know, and I see all kind of signs right now, tea time. But I want to say thank you. I have a gift for each member of the City Council. I have a movie for you, and I want you to see it. And I want to say something about Debbie Dorsey. We're cancer survivors. I would just want to say something about Debbie because she stopped taking chemo to be here today, and I'm about to be in tears because I know what it means to stop taking chemo and try to be somewhere. So I just want to say something about her. She said, I'm going to stop taking it in time so I won't be sick when I get there. So, you know, anyway, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Councilmember Bond says I should mention the website for the film. The website for the film is www.footsoldiers1964.com. That's the website for the film. I want to recognize O'Neill Tares, Nico Parham, Franklin Huff, and again, Ozzie Harris, Tina Dunkley, director of the Clark Atlanta University Art Galleries, and I think that was everyone that I can see. Mary Neal, Grace Terrell McCoy, Dr. Roslyn Harper, Darlene Kimes. Yes, thank you.
I just want to publicly call a few names because I see such very warm and familiar faces. Ms. Logan, my former chorus teacher at Ralph Bunch Middle School, and I see my neighbor over here, but I just want to take a couple of minutes to say something about Miss Georgia Ann Thomas and Evelyn, and I'll try not to get emotional. This is a remarkable woman. You all already know that, but when I was a little girl, they were my next door neighbors, and my mom had gone back to school. She was working full time. She was in school at night. And every day, this woman took me into her home for dinner. And the most remarkable part about it, she had the most beautiful china, and she would let us eat on her china every day. And she said it was because we deserved the best. So, this has nothing to do with this movie. But I remember it because it meant so much to me, and my children would be surprised because I don't even let them in my dining room. But I hope that there would be a little girl next door that I would let in my dining room. So I just want to publicly thank all of you all. You all have just been remarkable women in so many ways for so long, and just thank you. And I'm very honored to be a part of your village.
Councilmember Bond says I can ask if anyone else in the group would like to make a statement briefly. This is Dr. Rosalind Pope, who was the primary author of the Appeal for Human Rights, which appeared as a full-page ad in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution on March 9, 1960, to get the Atlanta student movement started. Incidentally, we're very close to the anniversary day. October 19th, 1960 was the day of the largest coordinated sit-in movement in public and private restaurants and businesses, just a few days ago.
I just want to congratulate the remarkable class of 1964 from Spelman College. You may have noticed that I was sitting over here. That's because I actually graduated in 1960, and so my knees are 4 years older than their knees. But somehow I've been connected to this class because of the introduction to the film, where we made some remarks about the appeal for human rights, and I appreciate the fact that they don't leave me behind when they're going somewhere. I come with them, but they are wonderful. They're about to celebrate their 50th reunion year next year, and so you're very fortunate to be in the company of the Foot Soldiers class of 1964. Thank you. Stay there, baby. Stay.
This is retired Major General Marceline Jordan Harris. She was the highest ranking woman in the United States Armed Services when she retired in
1979.
1979.
1997. 1997. Got them all those 19s confused. I just want to take this opportunity on behalf of the group standing here to thank Georgianne and Evelyn for the tenacious work that they did. They pushed us. They didn't lead from behind. They got in front and they pulled us both ways and got us involved in this. And we are most grateful for it. And we're most grateful for their hard work and also for the people they got to cooperate with them to make such a marvelous production. And if you have not seen the film, I think you'll see what I mean when you see this production as it comes about, highlighting what we did when we were young girls just entering college. Thank you.
I guess, are there any other comments? Because I guess we're about to close out. I just wanted to say I feel a great affinity for the class of 1964. I'm class of 1971 from Spelman. I graduated from the from the kindergarten class. But in all seriousness, if you think about this, all of the students, whether they were at the other AU Center schools or in high school that participated in the movement, the students at Spelman were the most restricted. They were the most restricted because they were specifically, I believe, forbade for participating at any point, at any level, at any iota of participation. But yet they were central to the movement and its effectiveness. Of course, the author of the committee of the Appeal for Human Rights, there was a Spelman woman. Even though the schools jointly share in the credit, the folks that the staff, the officers participated in the marches, went down and defied, because if they were found off campus, I understand you all would be put out of school, probation. So what they call social probation. And so they could have lost their educational opportunity simply by being in the vicinity, not even actually participating in some of these marches and demonstrations. And so we live in an Atlanta today based on the efforts of these young ladies that they took on at 16, 17, and 18 years old. And if we cast our eyes upon that same group in this city today, it leaves a lot to be desired. So we need to make sure that we're imparting whatever they got to the young people in our city today, and that they need to know from whence they came and what transpired and what happened, because history is sacred. It's not to be forgotten, no matter how painful the memory. If you don't remember that lesson, you'll keep putting your hand on a hot stove. So people need to know what happened. And now, I guess I will close out as the son of a Spelman woman. It is a pleasure to be here amongst you, and thank you for the freedom that we enjoy. And we will now do what the City Council does best. If you ladies would gather, Evelyn and Doctor, if you get right up here, and Evelyn, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do several things in my mind at the same time. So credit it to my heart, not my head. Gather here in front, and ladies gather around, and we'll ask the other members of the City Council to kind of come in, and we'll do what the council does best, which take beautiful pictures. Are there any other folks who are down in front in the well? And a photograph. Right here.